Woohoo! Welcome to the PHNX Daily Bets Show, brought to you by the one and only DraftKings. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download today using code PHNX and receive $200 in free bets when you place one or more on any football game this week. I am here with my prop provocateur, Johnny Venerable. Johnny, how you doing?
What's the good word? Shano, welcome back. Had a hiatus yesterday. Jacob stole your throne, but I'm
Yeah.
happy to welcome you back on the PHNX Bets Daily Show, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook app. Promo code PHNX to get a free $200 off. When you gamble this weekend on any NFL game and we are $1, you get that free $200. We'll touch on more of that as we preview, Shano, tonight's big time Thursday night NFC East matchup between the New York Giants and formerly the Washington Redskins, now the Washington football team.
You can't say that on
I'm
here,
not even
Johnny.
allowed to. Okay, I apologize.
No, it's actually any football game this week, I'm pretty sure. So you can bet $1 on any football game, any college football game, any NFL game. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, the Arena Football League's over now, but yeah. So let's break down this just incredible quarterback matchup we have. I mean, Daniel Jones, just the elite passer, quarterback vision he has, and Taylor Heinicke, just the wheels on that man. I cannot wait to see some dump offs to Antonio Gibson and Logan Thomas all night tonight. It's going to be a fun one.
This is like quintessential, again, pre-quality Thursday night content and like back that harkens back to Jacksonville, Tennessee of like, the mid to late 2000s with, Thursday night football on NFL Network. No one watched, but we follow the game on our phone. This game, you take away the brands, right? Because the Giants are a big brand, Washington football team, out east is a big brand. These are two teams with no direction right now because of who's under center.
Yeah, the best part about this game, I think, is I think we have the same picks for our predictions for tonight, and we'll bring those up in a second. But I don't think there's going to be a lot of points scored because it just has the makings of a boring NFL game with Washington's defense being really good and their offense being really bad. I'm going to use DVOA a lot on this show moving forward. So if you don't know what DVOA is, Football Outsiders does a great job of explaining it. But basically, it's just adjusted points given to certain offenses and defenses in regards to what team they're playing, what down it is. So it's just like an all-encompassing stat for how good the offense and how good the defense is. So breaking it down, Washington football team's offense was 32nd in DVOA last year, the worst team last year, and 24th in week one. But they were third in defense last year. So they don't like to score, and they don't like the other team scoring. So bad offense, good defense equals no points.
They have a fearsome front seven, led, of course, by Defensive Rookie of the Year, Chase Young. Ron Rivera, that was his makeup when he was with the Chicago Bears as their defensive coordinator. And, of course, his quality run of success with Cam Newton, the Carolina Panthers. So I would expect them, even in a division that has, a loaded offense in Dallas, maybe an offense that might surprise in Philadelphia, to be in the mix for the top defense in the NFL. And I think what we saw last week maybe was a little bit of an outlier performance because I'm with you, Shane. I just think that defensive line, the offensive line for the Giants, you can make your argument, is one of the worst units in the entire NFL, not just amongst offensive line, but just in the league. If you were to think about what's like one of the poorest units for any NFL team, a lot of people would think Giants offensive line. So you combine those two factors. I do think the Giants play scrappy, especially defensively for Joe Judge. They had a lot of instances last year scoring on special teams, blocking field goals, that kind of thing. I do think that if we get points at a premium tonight, it's going to be in that regard. Somebody taking to a punt to the house, maybe a defensive touchdown, because I just think these offenses, even though there are skilled players that I like, Terry McLaurin, Saquon Barkley, I think Kenny Golladay is going to play. You mentioned Logan Thomas. When you have such an inept quarterback play, and that's what these two teams have, combined with stout defensive fronts, I think the Giants are a little bit better in their front seven than we make them out to be. I would take the over, and we're going to touch on it here in a minute. Or excuse me, the under.
Okay, I was gonna say you sent me your picks earlier. I thought you're flip flopping really fast. No, so yeah, let's touch on the spread. Let's pull up our picks for today. We both have the under at 41, and Washington football team covering that spread of -3. Pretty public picks, I think. I think both of the public are on both. Maybe the over under might be a little different, but I feel like most of the public is hammering WFT tonight. The thing that is something to note, pointed out by my good friend Jack Fitzgerald, he's a diehard Giants fan. Daniel Jones is 4-0 against Washington's football team. But something I found when I was digging out in through that stat was that so is Matt Cassell. So I don't think that really tells us much, especially with the Washington football team not really being able to figure out who they were the first year they played Daniel Jones. And then last year, I don't know how he beat him last year. He had that 49-yard run against them last year where the camera got faked out. But yeah, I think I'm pretty confident with WFT cover. I think it was at 3.5 last night. I think the line moved toward the Giants today, which is a little strange.
Yeah, I think the Giants have better skilled players, even though I like Scary Terry. I like the running back. The Cardinals drafted Logan Thomas, and coincidentally, as a quarterback, and now they need a tight end like Logan Thomas.
Yeah.
The Giants have made some decisions just from a personal standpoint with their general manager, Dave Gettleman, that are just mind-blowing in today's, NFL. They took Andrew Thomas as the first tackle 2 years ago in that loaded tackle class that included Tristan Wirfs and Mekhi Becton. And he's by far and away the worst of the tackles. So they just had such poor talent evaluation. They've tried to overspend in free agency. So I think they have a lot of like spare parts on their team that you could say, well, that they could be good. But then you go back to the fact that nobody has more turnovers since Daniel Jones was drafted in the NFL at the beginning of 2019 than him and the Giants.
Yeah.
You think about those great Giant teams with Eli, and in the regular season he would throw picks, pretty consistently. He hunkered down toward the end of his career, and that's when they had success.
Yeah, overspending in free agency you can only do on certain positions. Definitely, obviously not running back now, as we've seen. You got to have them on your rookie deal, like a guy like Antonio Gibson, who I think is going to have a big night. But you know where I don't mind overspending? In the DraftKings Sportsbook, Mr. Johnny Venerable. Why don't you tell everybody about that?
I think I know where you're going with this, brother, because absolutely. Bet just $1 on any football game this week. You're going to receive that $200 free to bet instantly. Literally, you do it. You go up to your next bet, and it'll be in increments of $25 that you're able to just kind of morsel out over the course of this weekend's games. Again, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use that promo code PHNX. 21 and over in Arizona. Gambling problem, 1-800-NEXT-STEPS. New customers only for this free bet promotion. So if you've already cashed in like myself, which has been probably 2 weeks since I've done this, you can't do it again. As much as I would love that, you can't do it again. Minimum $5 deposit, $1 wager required. Eligibility restrictions
Gotcha.
apply.
It got you.
Max $50 wager for no-brainer offer. One per customer. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for more details.
Dude, my tongue muscles are just incredible right now. Eligibility restrictions apply. Like, I'm so good at saying that now.
Maybe
It's
I'll
pretty
just cut out
impressive.
when we do the read, and I'll let you just audible in, and then I'll tag you out.
Well, also, right now, if you go to gophnx.com, you can find some really good content that we aren't posting on our YouTube, and some articles that people like Mr. Johnny have written himself. There's some great shirts on there also. Right now, you can go and get your first month for just 50 cents, or you can get an annual subscription for $60. And with that annual subscription, you get a free T-shirt, and those T-shirts are very fire. We got a couple new ideas in the works. That Suns shirt is something that I need on my body right now. I really like it.
Wow.
But yeah. See, this podcast is pretty sensual. I don't know if our viewers have noticed, but it gets a little emotional.
Word on the street is there's a new Cardinal tee dropping Friday.
I've heard that too.
I'm not going to give anything away, but it is absolutely fire, and I can't wait to get one because I'm going to sport it every chance I get. I also tried to get with our creative team to get like an old school NWO shirt, but with the PHNX logo, and that was quickly shot down. So only good ideas.
Would you
PHNX Sports Gear Lounge?
Would you or anybody in the chat, would you guys buy a shirt that just said Shane on it? Like nothing else, it just said Shane? No.
The answer to that.
Okay. What about like Shane is cool?
Which like Shane, you ever watch pro wrestling? I'm not a pro wrestling enthusiast, regardless of my comments here, but Vince McMahon's son is Shane McMahon, and he goes from Shane O'Mac, and then his theme music is "Here Comes the Money." So if we ever get the rights to that, that should be accompanied with this show. That should be our opening theme music.
So Johnny, I think you're in the minority here. I'm gonna. Egan said no. I saw a lot of yeses in the chat actually. Oh, need locks, not shirts. Thanks, Egan.
External family members of Shane that are in the chat.
All right. We the one thing in the show is we can't have too much fun. I found that out the hard way after losing our first bets. But we're having fun and we're winning lately. So let's keep it going. Thursday night football, elite game coming up. Johnny, can you tell me some of the props you're looking out for today?
Oh goodness, there are numerous props that I'm digging on today. Let's go specifically with our buddy Daniel Jones. Well, he's not our friend. I actually think he's terrible. He's got an over/under passing TDs of 1.5 minus 200. While that's not a great spread on the surface, I would be susceptible to parlay that with something like Terry McLaurin, first TD plus 800. Imagine if you were to hit on both of those in a two-team prop parlay. The plus 800 is already going to help you make up your money, and then you're just going to dabble. You're going to sprinkle on betting against Daniel Jones to succeed, which is something I do regularly.
I'm sorry for that. I like both. I like McLaurin especially scoring first. Taylor Heinicke actually, I think on Wednesday. Is today Wednesday? No, today's Thursday. Thursday night football. I think yesterday he said that he really wants to distribute the ball more evenly around the receivers, specifically picking out Logan Thomas and Terry McLaurin. So I think he's going to look to him a lot. But let's get
a corner for the Giants. I can't.
DeAndre Baker's on the Browns now, I think. So no, that's the only one. All right. Anyway, let's get into my props. I have two pretty gross ones. I got Daniel Jones over 22.5 rushing yards. As I mentioned earlier, he had that 49-yard run against WFT last year. They, for some reason, love running the read option with him. I don't know what it is, but it's kind of fun when he does it. I just hope he doesn't trip again. And then I got Kenny Golladay anytime touchdown. I think he was targeted 6 times last week, but he was on the field for 85% of their snaps, I want to say. And then Sterling Shepard is the only person that takes away from him, but Golladay is way more of a red zone target. So I like that plus 200. It's pretty juicy. And I also have a flyer for tonight, one of our frequent flyers segment. So pull that flyer up. There's me. I look so good in there. Yeah, well, of course. I'm on my phone. So this is my flyer. It's something that probably won't happen, but I really like Antonio Gibson to have 5 receptions, 75 plus rushing yards. I think he rushed for a solid amount last week. I want to say like 100 or something. He rushed for a good amount of yards last week against that who'd they play last week? Washington football team played somebody weird. The Chargers, yeah. Even though that defense is a little hobbled, I like him to rush for 75 yards against this pretty good front, or the pretty bad front seven. And then, I plus 1,500, and for the Washington football team to win, but plus 1,500. What are your thoughts on that? The only thing I don't know about is his receptions, because he only had 3 last week, but I feel like they'll dump it off.
Well, I think that was in part because of the loss of quarterback. Now you think about Taylor Heinicke has a whole week embedded as the starter. They can work on that game plan. I think there is going to be a lot of dink and dunk with both of these offenses. So I actually like that bet a lot. I'm just full confidence. Like, I don't buy Joe Judge. I don't buy this Giants regime. They are sneakily one of the worst run franchises of the past half decade. And they don't have a calling card. At least with Washington, like Ron Rivera's a good coach. Been to a Super Bowl, right? Probably maybe should have won that game if Cam hadn't fumbled the ball and Von Miller went nuts in that Super Bowl. He could be a winning Super Bowl coach. And they're going to have a great defensive front. What do the Giants do well? I would argue they don't do anything well. I think they're in a division now with a lot of young, exciting talent. CeeDee Lamb and Dallas and what all that Dak Prescott brings. I like Jalen Hurts more than most. Philly's got a nice young offense. And then Washington has their calling card defensively. The Giants are just kind of a meh franchise. I predict fast forward 6 months, everybody will be fired. They're going to have like a top 3 to 5 pick, and they'll be starting over.
Johnny, I think we need to turn this bet show into just anti-Giants propaganda.
Well, it just, to me, I just, they don't do a lot for me. And there's very few.
You talk passionately about
like
them.
That. Well, no, they just, I feel like they're wasting some potential, some players. I think Saquon Barkley would have been better off going somewhere else. So Danny Dimes, to me, I'm passionate about it because there were analysts on draft night in 2019 that said he was better than Kyler Murray, and we will find those people and we will scorn them on twitter.com for just the most egregious take of all time.
Your relationship with the Giants reminds me of like a 5th grade crush. Like, you're just talking so much shit to them, just like so mean. But like, you got a picture of Danny Dimes at your bedside and like give him a little kiss goodnight.
No, that's true. Where's our Danny Dimes tweet? We have to get before we get out of here. There it is. Look at this tweet, America. The Daniel Jones doubters remain strong and loud. Yeah, they're on this podcast, but the Giants remain bullish on their young QB. If you don't see it, you're blind. Well, if you cut back to me, I apparently am blind because I think he's terrible. I didn't put on my Ray-Bans because I didn't want to offend anybody. But that's the kind of stuff that enables people in New York to think that the Giants are better than they are. Come on, Giant media, New York media, get some cojones and rip this team because they're terrible.
I think we need to stop enabling you, Johnny. You're gonna pop a bit. Yeah, you're gonna pop a vein here soon. Yeah, that's about all the picks we got for tonight. Let's see if we can go 2 for 2 on or 2 for 3 because of the first Thursday night game on primetime football. No, it's week 1. Wait, it's our week 1 too. Come on, we didn't stretch or anything. I didn't get my mental stretches in. So yeah, Daniel Jones. If you're listening to this, which I know he is, please just try to be a little better tonight. Anything else to add, Johnny?
Catch us tomorrow.
Noon, same time. We'll get our Sunday picks out. Yeah, appreciate you guys. Peace.